Hey guys, Phil here and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. It's another tournament match, 3v3, 3000 starting points, no income. Well, 3v3, this is a 2v3, as the tournament has people playing from all different time zones. Planning can be a bit difficult. And in case it is very difficult, you are allowed to use 2 players, if you feel like you can actually hold on with 2 players. On the one hand, it has an advantage, because you get more units, you get more availability. On the other hand, it has a disadvantage, because you don't have as many eyeballs on the map. You have to focus on more different areas. But the London Tea Party with Sniper Fire and Javelin feel like they're confident to do this. And they're playing against Regiment Heusinger. Heusinger is on Red 4, by the way. Now the map's Plungin Valley. This is a map where you can have quite a lot of different areas of offense/defense, depending on how you're approaching the area. Foxtrot, usually a bit static with the infantry hold up here and some other infantry hold up there. Red 4 has a hard time placing ACV in here if they want to counter cap it. Similarly, Blue 4 has the same problem but on Bravo, although arguably they have a little bit more area where they can put a command vehicle. The middle, usually captured by Red 4, Alpha. And these buildings and tree lines are generally pretty heavily fought over. Now, what's interesting about this match is that we have Sniper Fire using Israel, but Javelin is using Denmark. That's a country that you don't really see that often in the game. And because US and USSR are disallowed, and so are the coalitions, people are playing some different decks. And that's exactly what I wanted to see in the tournament. Just see how a couple of different decks work. And the guys in the CV9030s, for example, you got... Where were they? Yeah, the Bell 204s. You're going to be seeing some infantry units which you might not normally see. Now over on the enemy team, well rather, Red 4, we have, what was the Czech, the Yugoslavs, and the Chinese, if I'm not mistaken. These look like they're going to be rushing command, no, not command infantry. They have command infantry in a helo, but this is a Z9A with recon. Potentially flying over to Bravo. Looks like they're also planning an offensive on the other side. MIATs with HEGM, well, potentially light infantry in them. Might be making a grab over here, trying to get it quickly. And over towards Alpha, it's usually a bit of HEGMs, a bit of, well, depending on how you're playing your deck, sometimes reservists, which are being poured into this area in large numbers. But with a limited income, rather no income and limited starting points, you're going to have to make some different decisions than you might normally do. Now let's kick off the match and see how these guys are going to approach this problem. Alright. Red 4 racing ahead with SPW-40s, Mi-8Ts flying over and going towards Foxtrot. We have the Z9A, which I was expecting to fly here. It's actually looking to take up terrain in the middle of the map. We have the Mi-8T over here, dropping off the command infantry, and a lot of Chinese forces going towards the middle, all under the command of Storm Commando. Over on the left, OT-Tab 71s. We got a VHOR, nice fire support unit / main battle tank, and the Sava for anti-air defenses. Also, and this is pretty much a mandatory unit that you almost always see, the M84AN. Very powerful unit, very flexible. And especially when teamed up with a VHOR, it can deliver quite significant blows. It's almost like the VHOR is pushing this guy along. Oh, actually the VHOR is 5 kilometers faster off-road. So yes, maybe they are pushing him along. Right, how is Blue 4 doing? Blue 4 is trying to get their infantry offloaded in here, and it looks like one helicopter didn't quite make it, because this is a really weird way to land your helicopter. We have the FSK taking up control of the buildings, and the FSK are armed with the Erics. Very nice ATGM weapon, however, limited range, 1050 meters. They do not yet have recon, but Sniper Fire's Hammer transports coming in. FSK down the middle, and a lot of CV9030s, which are armed with that fantastic Bushmaster 2 gun. The autocannon has a very nice rate of fire. Unfortunately, the vehicle does not carry a lot of ammunition, but that is offset by the very good accuracy and very good AP of this gun. So that with that accuracy, AP and HE value, you don't really need that many salvos of that Bushmaster 2 to get rid of whatever target you're firing at, as long as it's not a tank. Now over on the right, I didn't quite cover it, but Red 4 did try to make a push over here, and Blue 4 shot them down with the Drakon, meaning that Red 4's infantry offensive over here has failed. Of course, Red 4 does have the buildings over here. Conquer's team, we have a couple of supporting Reserveschützen, and a command infantry unit is sitting on the edge of the forest. This means that at the moment, neither team has any kind of income, and Sniper Fire's team does have a little bit more of a starting point. They got 38 versus 0 for Regiment Heusinger. Now lots of areas where you can push, but only very few units that you can push with. Blue 4 is trying to keep Red 4 at bay over here, but Red 4 is trying to make a flanking maneuver by the looks of it, looking to go through the forest and potentially come in around, although that's going to be a fair amount of driving. They have not captured the area yet, but Red 4 is about to change that. Storm Commando's command infantry is coming in, and Blue 4's command infantry by Javelin is standing by. Now it looks like they have a bit of a hole in their lines as a couple of ZSD-63Cs are coming through, but they're quickly getting eliminated by a combination of Maglan and Dorbin LR. At the same time, it does show that there is HEGMs in these buildings, but then again, you can pretty much expect that. Conflict in the middle, happening between the Stormer, the ZTQ-62G, recon tank, and Tanker Shushu, which is really bad news for the infantry, because they cannot possibly hope to outrange those. The CV-9030s might be able to assist. They have a range of 300 meters greater than the Tanker Shushu, but they can't really see them. So this offensive seemed to have stalled for both parties. Over on the right, we have Sniper Fire's Maglan and Rovait engaging enemy units. The enemy units, however, are pushing back. Motorschützen and BMP-2. Now it does look like Red 4 has a lot of stuff over here, preparing for an offensive over there. And if they do, then Blue 4 does not really have that much to defend with. You got the Maglan and the Rovait, you got potentially more Rovait in this Achsarit, and that's about it. Sure, they have some more units over here, and Shaiskov knows that there is a Maglan team over there. We also have the Drakon and the Hammer Mapats, but these guys are not in a very good position. Maybe they're being brought in later. Then again, an HEGM unit all the way over there versus infantry and vehicles sneaking through here. It's not likely going to be doing that much. Now Red 4 has captured this sector, and Blue 4 has responded by countercapping it. This does mean that the buildings over here are getting pretty busy. We got the Opklaring, FSK, Maglans, Dorbin LR, Stormer and the command infantry all jockeying for position. And to make matters worse, a Q5D drops a couple of bombs at him and finds that there is no NTR response. So maybe we're going to see that Q5D come in a few more times and see what they can fish out from these buildings. Because it is pretty obvious that the Blue 4 command infantry unit's not here. Because otherwise that ZSD-63A would have spotted it. No, it has to be here somewhere. And Red 4 is very much aware of that. We have a smokescreen coming up from the M60PM. And the infantry over here seems to be making a move for it. Blue 4 really doesn't have that much that can defend. There is really not a lot of very combat capable infantry. Maybe with the exception of the FSK and the Stormer. But they're only going to be doing short range battles if these guys actually make it through. More conflict happening over here on the far right / far left, depending on how you're looking at it. And we have one SPW-80 is making a break for it. There is a Siphon up there. This one is going to be instrumental in detecting a potential incursion here by Shaiskov, but if that is LSTR, then it's going to be really bad news for that Siphon, as it will get shot down. Snipers bringing in another Merkava 1. We get a Macbeth standing by. Apparently they're not afraid of any seed flights, because the Macbeth still has its main gun active. Red 4 is bringing in... Oh, that's another empty Mi-AT. I was expecting a bit more infantry there. There is something else coming in. Yeah, it's the Q5D again. Where are you hoping to go? There's no blue for jets. There's no response. They only have, let's say, shorter range anti-air defenses in the Drakon. Q5D flying in. Drakon not engaging, probably out of range. And the Q5D drops again. This time, when the blue 4 infantry units are already in contact, and the Maglans get wiped out by the bombing run, leaving the Stormers, and here they are, the CV-1930s, to clear up the red 4 incursion of infantry. Incursion cleared up, and that smokescreen actually came in very useful. Unfortunately, the FSK don't really get the benefits of a smokescreen, and they lose 4 operators due to the M84AN. Smokescreen dissipating, so the CV-1930s are being pulled back, and the Dorbin LR is being brought up, hoping to get a shot at the M84AN. Right now it's a bit of a standoff. Neither party probably have a lot of points in reserve, and that means that neither party can really force a push anywhere. At the moment, it looks quite good for Blue 4. Because Blue 4 does have a few more points. But they're also spread out pretty thin against Red 4. Blue 4 seems to have quite a few units stacked up over here. Whereas Red 4 does not seem to be making a push over there. Red 4's units are mostly here. This seems to be an area where we can expect an offensive. Snipers at Rovait are going to have a really rough time as they are starting to encounter more and more units in here. And while Rovait are decent infantry, I don't think they can be asked to defeat everything that's in this forest. Now we constantly have attack markers going up, and it seems like they spot quite a bit. There goes another transport. It's only a matter of time before that Q5D gets rearmed and does another flyover for Bravo. We just did see it wipe out a couple of Maglan operators down there. And Blue Force NTR is very lackluster. They're good against helicopters, these Drakon. They have the range for that, but against planes, they're pitiful. 2,380 meters is just not enough to intercept a jet, either before it does its bombing run or after it's come over. And the Storm Commando seems to know this, and the Q5D is coming in yet again. Rovait currently in contact with the Reserveschützen, Motorschützen, and BMP-2, so they have their hands full. They've already taken down potentially a few vehicles, or at least shot at them, because they're running a little low on their M72A4s. This is going to be the end of the Rovait, and it was also the end of the Magland that was over there, as the Q5D again was able to neutralize a Magland group. So very slowly, but definitely steadily, Blue 4 is being dismantled by bombing runs. And they don't really seem to be able to do much about it. Now we still have the command, no not the command, we still have the transport over here. And it seems like they might be detected. No, they're not detected, they're just in a clearing. The SPW-80 can't see the Siphon, and similarly the Siphon cannot see the SPW-80. So it's a bit of a standoff, until either party happens to move. There's also an incursion happening here. An Mi-AT, rocket pods at the ready. It seems to be, well, a pretty safe approach towards Echo. There is a Bell 204 here, and 2 more Bell 204s which are hovering low, close to the command infantry. They also have a Nun, which is probably what the Hapa came out of, as, well, more of a picket line than anything else, because it won't really do much beyond that. Blue 4 finally spawns in an aircraft, the F-16AM, and we have an F-16A fighting Falcon heading over to the right. But unlike Blue 4, Red 4 has pretty decent anti-air in the form of the Flacom Tor. It is going to be the question of do they turn it on in time, and yes they do. They're getting shot at by an Igla and the Flacom and the L-17K, and the F-16 is down. That's an expensive bombing run. If they were able to get the bombs away in the first place. Now the F-16AM is engaging at long range versus the Q5D. Q5D takes a hit. The second one misses and the Q5D is in the clear. Red 4 is now making a push towards the left flank of Blue. We got the VHOR moving in. We got an M86 Recon coming in. M80A with more infantry. And this position is looking very, very weak indeed. Commando Plus down to 4. FSK down to 6 and Stormer at 20. They still have their transports as fire supporters, but beyond that, nothing. No anti-air, no reconnaissance, and no tank. And that's going to be a problem. depending on how aggressively this V-Horse is going to be. Now, Red 4 is pushing in with the Mi-8T. And Blue 4 seems to have just about found out about it. And they're spawning in new units, CV-130 and at Zeeshan Bay. It's not the ideal Zeeshan for the job, because the Zeeshan E has the Stinger missiles. This one does not, but it does have the M197 Vulcan, and it's using that to take care of this guy. There we go, helo down. Over on the far right, the LSTR have disembarked from their vehicle. I'm not sure what happened to the SPW-80, but these guys seemingly have taken a shot at the helicopter, as they have fired one Igla. Although I'm not sure if that was right now or quite a long time ago and they just happened to be loaded back up into the vehicle. Once again, the Q5D is coming back out. And it is, let's say, on a course towards the Achsarit. Look at how weak Blue Force position is here. There's 2 Achsarit, 1 Markova, no infantry beyond the Dorban LR team. And Red 4 is just fishing. It looks like they're going to be... Actually, they're not dropping bombs. The Drakon takes a couple of shots at it, completely misses the mark. The F-16AM finally gets the kill on the Q5D, and hopefully that's going to end the reign of terror of that aircraft, because they just kept doing bombing runs, and Blue 4 really didn't have that much to defend with. Score-wise, it's still very similar. 38 versus 6. They haven't moved. Now, if Red 4 would make a move with all of these units, they could very, very easily push out Blue 4. Because really the only combat-capable units that they have, let's say the combat-effective units, are the Maglan, the Dorban LR, and the Merkava. The Achsarit can defend themselves temporarily against the Motorschützen, but with the RPG-7 VR, the Motorschützen can one-shot the Achsarit. So it's going to be a pretty easy fight for the Motorschützen, especially if they get backup from their tank. In the middle, Blue Force position is a bit better. They have the CV-9030s, and they seem to be getting detected as well. Once again, the Tanker Shushu open up. This time around, the CV-9030s are returning fire. And they are successful at defeating some of the Tanker Shushu, but there are still more of them. To make matters worse, that ZTQ-62 comes out, and that immediately kills off one of the CV-9030s. The other one, panicked, still very accurate, tries to get rid of the Tank Shushu altogether. And this time around, Blue 4 has support from a heavy tank. Merkava 3D Baz. This should be no problem clearing up that ZTQ-62. Red 4's position over here is okay. I understand that they don't want to push, although that M84AN could be a severe menace to Blue 4. I think this is mostly Blue for projecting strength, or Red for not being aggressive enough. Oh, 2 more Q5Ds coming in. Jeez, they're aggressive. Bombing run. 1 Stormer survives. Q5D gets shot down. Once again, the F-16 flies out and I think gets the kill in combination with the Drakon. But beyond that, the other one was successful. And the last Stormer is not really being evacuated. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he found a really deep hole to hide in. Oh, there we go. He's back in the transport. Units are being dropped or being pulled back by Javelin. Blue Force position is so shaky. Red 4 just has a lot more units in the field, but they're not using them. You got Zanshi, you got Luzandui, more Luzandui. Sure enough, you really wouldn't want to be pushing here, because Blue Force position here is too strong. Although, arguably, if you push here and you can get a CV in there, even the one from Bravo, you can still get a +1. Now, the LSTR have almost arrived at at Blue Force Echo spawn. And once they get there, they might be able to find the Blue 4 Command Infantry. They will have to go through the Bell 204s, and it looks like they have already been detected. I'm not sure when exactly, but it looks like they do know of these units, as they're being marked relatively accurately. Or they're saying maybe this is where they are, or maybe that's where they are. Move to there. I imagine something like that's going on. Now, Blue 4 is in a very shaky position, but they have one thing going for them. they don't need to push. And that might be their saving grace. Because if they don't have to push, then they can just more or less focus on the defense with the units that they have. And as long as Red 4 is not making aggressive moves, then Blue 4 can just keep the time ticking down until the 30-minute mark. And when that happens, Blue 4 will win. If Red 4 goes on the offensive on all fronts, then they will push Blue 4 out. But as of right now, it seems like Red 4 just does not quite have enough initiative. There's another MIAT flying around. It looks like the LSTR are currently waiting. They might be looking for a distraction from the MIAT before the LSTR themselves push in. Javelin's saying, oh crap, they got a lot of stuff over here. He's marking up the Vihor. I just don't think that Blue 4 has really anything that can deal with it. Sure enough, the Eryx is firing at the transport, but the Vihor is out of range. And I haven't seen any high-end HEGM snipers come in yet. There's no real anti-tank units being flown in. I'm not sure how many points Blue 4 still has in reserve at this point. Oh, it looks like they did make a small push here. The Arsarit one of the Arsarit got killed. Motorschützen are down to half strength. But they did fire a couple of RPG VRs. Come on, Red. You got all these units. Make a move. Blue 4 is so weak. Red 4 is now making a move. The Vihor is pushing up. The Mehanetsovana are pushing up. There's just a few FSK operators. They're taking their Eryx missile to town on the Vihor. Getting one hit in, but the Vihor has quite a bit of armor there. So the second missile slams into the Vihor. The infantry is dead. The FSK keeps going, firing off another missile. Vihor is now down to 2 strength. And at the same time, Red 4 is making a move. We got the MIAT engaging the command infantry. Command infantry almost gave their position away as they were aiming at the target, and Sniper just in time took those guys out of the fight. The LSTRs took care of the transport. I'm not sure where... Ah, there's the Zeeshan. The Zeeshan was sent to the front line not too long ago, because that's where they were needed in defense against the Vihor and the infantry. But right now, it's coming back as quickly as possible. And it looks like the Siphon is also being brought in to scout against the LSTR. There's not a lot of defense here that Blue 4 has. Again, I don't know how many points they have in reserve to counteract situations like these. The Zeeshan is coming in. It has absolute dominance against the MIAT, but the LSTR are helping out. And as the Zeeshan kills the MIAT, the LSTR killed the Zeeshan. That is the last Igla missile, and they make it count, taking out the recon helicopter. Now this is unfortunately for Red 4 not where Blue 4 CV is. Blue 4 CV is a little bit further down the road. But it probably won't take them too long to scout out that position. There is help on the way. Of all units, a Merkava 3B is coming back. It's going to take him a while though. It's a mechanized unit, not a motorized one. And that means that it's going to do only 110 on roads. The LSTR, in the meanwhile, are making decent progress to get to the Hapak. But for some reason they're stopping. They should have kept going. They're moving again. Maybe they're trying to get as close through this tree line as possible. 2 Bell 204s could be a real problem. They only have an MG3. It's not an autocannon, but the LSTR don't really have anything to do against them. Now the Merkava 3B is almost back. But at the same time, Red 4 is also maneuvering over here to the right. And if they do make a push, then Blue 4 only has a few Stormers to throw at them. The LSTR, once again, moving forward. They still haven't found the Hapak. They did take care of the fob, though. They captured it and reloaded their Igla. They also got the Vampire. The Vampire is a great HEGM. Or, sorry, great anti-tank weapon. But the Merkava 3B is also a great anti-infantry unit. And there goes the LSTR. That could have been deadly to Blue 4 if the Hapak got killed there. Now at this point there is 7.5 minutes left in this match. Blue 4 is still sitting at 38 points, but it really won't take that much to actually get them out of this position, out of this lead of 38 points to 6. And Red 4 is making a move. Let's see if Blue 4 spots it. Yep, they know that something's coming in. We got the Special Aufklärer and the Motorschützen. Dorben LR is taking care of their transport. There goes the BMP-2. And we have another offensive over here. The Luzandui have finally come out of their camping site over there. And they're now making moves towards the Blue 4 infantry. FSK, Stormer and Opklauding are trying to assist and push back, while they are getting some mortar support from Javelin. Come on guys, you don't have time for this. Push. There are 6 minutes left. You have to keep going. Luzandui are turning tail. Looks like that damaged Vihor got pulled all the way back to there. And I'd say that the logistics truck repaired it as much as it could, but ran out of supplies pretty quick. Now this is not an area where Red can push, so this really is one of the few areas that they have left. The Dorben LR seems to be going down. Motorschützen and Special Aufklärer against the Stormers, and these are Elite Stormer. I'd say that the Red 4 infantry is going to get the worst part of this fight. Once again, Red is not aggressive enough. The T-72 is now finally joining this fight, but it's a bit of too little too late. Q5D flies in, drops a couple of bombs at the building back there, which is not where the Hapag are. It's a good guess. It could very well be where Blue 4 was hiding their infantry, but it's just a bit further. It's the same situation as here, where they thought that the CV was hiding in the back. And Blue 4 sort of pulled this reverse psychology move on them and actually put them a bit further forward. Now there's more Red 4 infantry here, Reserveschützen. Reserveschützen, Motorschützen, and what's left of the Special Aufklärer are pushing forward. CV-9030s are being thrown into the fight, desperately holding off the enemy. CV-9030s, however, while they have armor, they don't have enough armor to take care of a T-72. The T-72 temporarily gets stunned. CV-9030 tries to pull back, gets narrowly scratched by an HGM. The T-72 fires again, but misses. And this CV-9030 seems to be leading a blessed life, but that luck is going to run out at some point. Maglan's trying to push back, making sure that the T-72 is not going to be making any more moves. I still don't know why Red 4 has 30 Reserveschützen sitting over here. They should be moving those up, because they have 4 minutes left, and they still need to get quite a few points. Now, they also seem to have tried to make a move here, or it's a distraction. But either way, they are trying to get some progress here. Motorschützen versus 3 Stormers. It is getting really, really close here. There's 4 Stormer, according to the game. 21 Reserveschützen versus 4 Stormer. It's not going to be an easy fight for the Stormer, but they might have a chance. And there are more Stormer coming in from CV-9030s. But whereas normally you could use the CV-9030s to support against the Reserveschützen, this time around they can't. Merkava 3B from Sniper Fire rushes to the rescue, forcing the T-72 M1 back. Helicopter flies in, gets shot down by the Drakon. They are so close to the killing of the Hapag. And once again, they stopped just short of it. Red 4 seems to think to know where the command infantry is, but it looks like the Hapag, the Commando Plus has moved one more building. Artillery thrown onto the, I think, location of the transports here, the CV-9030s. The IFVs are now under fire. Chunsha still has plenty of rounds left. Come on, Red. The Merkava 3 is getting moved out. Interesting. The M84AN has actually just bypassed the position over here. It is a bit low on fuel, But if it really wanted to, it could still make a move for Delta. Reserveschützen and Speciale Aufklärer against Stormer. The other Stormer are calming down. And hopefully can be healed up. That is, in 2.5 minutes they might not get the logistics that they need. Reserveschützen under mortar fire. That's the 2 NM106s that Javelin has going. Desperately trying to keep the Red 4 infantry at bay, and so far they seem to be successful. Now over here the M84AN has taken down one of the helicopters that they had scouting. Unfortunately for them, they have a track that's stuck in the mud. So the tank's not going to be going as quickly as it normally would. Blue still has an HVMS over there, which is a great fire support unit. It has 11 AP. It has a fantastic rate of fire, but one thing it lacks is punch. It cannot hope to go through the frontal armor of an M84AN. Red 4 seems to have cancelled their offensive over here, although they are making a push with a couple of Zanshi. That could still come out in favor of the Maglan over here, because they are such great infantry units. 90 seconds left. Blue Force actually reclaiming their building and making sure that the Reserveschützen are never coming back by pursuing them. And maybe if they jump another building, they might get a shot with the Carl Gustav against the T-72 and or the SPW-40 here. Here comes the M84AN. It's looking to go right down the road, and it has spotted a few Stormer. The Stormer have to get out of the way of the M84AN if it has any hopes of getting to the Commandoplast. The Stormers are, on the one hand, trying to save their own hide. At the same time, they're looking to kill that M84, and they are getting it. The M84 showed its flat armor, its side armor, and with that, very easy prey for the Stormer. So unfortunately that offensive failed. Now if the Stormer had not been successful, then the Merkava 3B might have been. It would have probably one-shot the M84AN, since it was already a bit weakened. Red 4 is now also making a push here. Liren, Luzandui, Vihor, more Luzandui. Fortunately here, Blue 4 still has the Merkava 3 Baz. And this is going to be a short-range heavy tank fight. Right now they can't quite see each other, but they can see the enemy infantry. So that's what's currently slugging it out. And Red 4 is again making a move here, throwing whatever they have left at Javelin Stormers. Reserveschützen, BMP-2, but it's not enough, and it's not in time. Because the time just ran out. 30 minutes have passed, and Sniper Fire's team, the London Tea Party, has been successful at just holding the line, but only just against Regiment Heusinger. Now, if you ever think that the enemy has a really strong position, probe it. Keep probing it, keep pushing it, and at some point you might just break through. Because as you saw, Red 4 was very, very close to pushing through Blue Force defenses, insofar as there were any, several times during this match. So, keep going, keep fighting, and don't let up. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know how the tournament's going, you can see that through the link down below in the description. And I shall see you guys soon for another video.